Hi, welcome. We're going to do another podcast today. We have a subject that we're going to be covering, and with me is Mr. Cody Williams.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to do the podcast. And what's going to be the subject today?
Today we are tackling the existential question, is video king?
Is video king? That's okay. So what we're going to be talking about is there's a lot of different types of social media out there, a lot of different ways people are communicating with each other. And I've been in the industry for about 35 years.
Right.
And so I've always been, video has been my primary function as a producer.
Right.
In marketing. That's been the tool of choice for me. That's my specialty.
Right.
And so I've seen video be dominant, when we were producing TV commercials back then. And only people with professional equipment, broadcast gear, and very high-end editing facilities were able to do this. And so it wasn't, not just anybody was able to do it.
Very high barrier for entry.
Right, yes. And so I've seen the evolution to where we are today.
Right.
So today, what makes it a prominent medium?
So I think it is, well, you brought up a really good point yesterday. We were talking about this. You compared it to
The Gutenberg Press.
the Gutenberg Press.
Yeah.
Because it was a revolution.
Yes.
It was an equalizer.
Yes.
It brought everybody up to this level that, or paved the way for everybody to go up to this level that only the elite were at.
Right.
And so there have been similar revolutions throughout history, that just, and we've had that same thing happen with video over the last 10 years.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to mention was when that happened, when the printing press was invented, the Gutenberg Press, one of the things that affected the world was all of a sudden, not only the most wealthy people had the ability to read,
right, but
everybody could read. And it led to a revolution, but it also led to a revolution in humanity. This is when Protestants came into being.
Yeah. Before
then, there was just one church. And then after the printing press came out, the Protestant movement became. The next time you had radio was the next big thing.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is this is the time when you had another massive change in the world, which is World War I.
Yeah.
And so every time there's a big thing like that, what follows is a change in society. It just rewrites the way we think.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. And of course, there was the moral panic with the outside of radio is like, oh, people are going to stop reading. Of course, with the Gutenberg Press, there are, people were panicked about, kids are going to be reading all the time instead of working.
Right.
And of course, TV in the 50s, when they started invading the homes, same thing. And now we see our younger generations doing this, and we're like, how? We worry about it, but we're doing it too. We're all doing it because we get on Facebook and we scroll, and from my experience, I come across a video, I pause for a few seconds. And that is it, because video speaks to all of us on every level, on an emotional level. We can passively engage in it, or we can actively engage in it. You're watching, you're listening.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, it's entertaining. It's educational.
Yeah. Sometimes what happens to me is I'll get on a string of videos and I'll look up and it's an hour later. Yeah. And I'm just one after another. And these are, just short little 10-second clips.
Right. And that's pretty universal. So in terms of video consumption, and of course, with the algorithms being as almighty as they are, we know, they know everything that we do. So they have, good stats on it. More than 80% of online traffic is video. That's a lot. And it's growing. In 2020, for some reason, we were all spending a lot more time, at home on our phones or on TV. And 2020, let me jump back before 2020. Let's see. It was up to 7 hours of video a week, so about an hour a day.
That people were consuming.
Video, yeah. And now in 2020, and again, this has been growing every year steadily for 10 years or longer. In 2020, people spent 3 hours a day on their watching video content. Like this is what speaks to us. I mean, this is how brands engage with people. People are saying, like in surveys, people are saying that they want more video content from brands. Like that's like because they want to know your personality, your style, you know, and what you have to say, what sets you apart, and they want to be entertained, same as any of us,
Right.
So
yeah, I think it's interesting. Do you know how many videos are updated or uploaded regularly?
oh man, it's
Millions.
It's hours a day,
Yeah.
billions of hours a day.
Right. And so, and everybody who has a smartphone now has the capability of producing a video.
Right.
And so it's no longer just producers or just business like us that's producing videos.
Right.
Now, the advantage for us is that it is a viable business. I mean, we can produce a lot of videos for companies who don't have personnel to specialize that, and we can do brand awareness through video. So that's what we enjoy doing.
Right. And you had mentioned, if you don't mind exploring this, you had mentioned when this trend started happening, a little bit of anxiety. Like, I mean, am I
in the right industry?
Am I obsolete?
Right,
you know?
right. And I experienced that several times in 35 years because even in desktop publishing, that when it came out, when people had the ability to do their own publishing on a desktop computer, we're thinking, oh man, okay, there's going to be a slice of our market share going away because they'll do it themselves.
Right.
And it occurred for a little bit, but what happened was still the expertise, the professionalism shined.
Right.
And so we got clients back again,
Right.
because we did it professionally. They could do it with templates and stuff like that, but when they wanted something custom and they wanted to be better than regular, then they would hire. So that happened, and then it happened also in video production. And so there was a time when we were producing up to 18 commercials a week.
Yeah.
And so, and this was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And that was a thriving time. I mean, you could literally be in business just producing that. That's all.
Yeah.
And so when social media kicked in, clients and businesses began to realize, okay, they can use social media to advertise and hit their audience targeted even more so. And so they began to do their own. And the price, the amount of their budget for marketing was just a fraction of what it used to have to be for buying advertising on broadcast and for production.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah, so when that happened, we thought, oh boy, we better diversify. And we did. We did it early on. We did, in 99, we began to do development of websites.
Right.
And of course, graphic design and media buying and placement and of course, video. So we've always had those different ways of doing marketing.
Yeah.
And so every time one area took a hit, we had the others to make up the difference. And video has had its ups and downs, but it's up again. It's very needed, and we get approached a lot for us to produce. And so, and we enjoy it. I like it. That's kind of like been my thing through the whole time. Web also has had that same, you have a bunch of self-building websites, and half of our clients come from having built their own site on a platform.
And they're like, I have this, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Or it just didn't reach the level of expertise that they wanted. And so they wanted a custom site.
Yeah.
And they are willing to pay a premium to get that custom site when they could get it for, a fraction if they just did it themselves.
Right.
And so everybody, or a lot of people, they do the smaller site themselves first, and then they'll come in and say, okay, we're ready to do a serious site.
Yeah.
And, it takes a lot of time, a lot of attention, a lot of design skills, but then they get a better product.
Yeah. And that's a really good point to bring up because, okay, so another, I guess, counter revolution or what have you is the internet, being a free, a playground, but we all gravitate towards these major sites lately. Like this past decade or so, we're all on TikTok, Facebook, and so knowing how to work those systems is such a major part. So you can have your video content, but another part of where we come in is knowing what to do with it.
Right.
Knowing how to get it and knowing how to get people to your website.
Right.
Where they want to know about you. They want to know what you can do for them.
Right. I've seen a lot of good quality stuff produced by people, and then I go and look at what they did, and I've noticed that they have no visitations, no sharing, no comments, no views.
Right.
And it's a good quality product. I'm thinking, wow, okay, so we need to, what they need is they need digital marketing.
Yeah.
And we specialize in that as well.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But I think what we can agree on is that probably the best tool right now for businesses is video, using it on social media, targeting.
By miles and miles.
By miles.
Yeah.
And you're able to communicate visually, you can entertain.
Yeah.
You can capture an audience. They don't have to be long videos, and it doesn't require a lot of reading. And people are kind of moving away from that.
You could argue that. I'm not. I would be willing to bet that the percentage of people who read regularly is pretty similar to what it was 50 years ago. But you could certainly argue that because you see you look at anybody when they experience a moment of boredom, what do? They don't pull out a book.
Right.
So,
yeah. Most of my reading now is websites.
Yeah.
And I'll go to a website that is providing information that's going on in the world, news. Or if I'm reading a deep dive, I'm normally like in Kindle. So I'll download the book, read it.
Right.
But I'll tell you, more than half of the books that I downloaded on the Kindle, I end up going to Audible because you could just put, earphones in and just go at it. And a book that I really, really enjoy, I will have the Kindle. I'll have the Audible. And if I really appreciate the author, I buy the book.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I'll buy a print copy because that's what if I experience a book that I really like, I like to give it to people that I think would enjoy it too, and so there's, I don't think there's ever going to be any replacing that, but at the end of the day, I mean, as far as what we're looking for as consumers, and that's what we all are, and society as it exists, video allows you to be concise and to capture viewers' interests in just a few seconds, and those first few seconds are critical, and so knowing what to do with those, and so to answer the question, is video king? I would say yes, video is king, but social media is its kingdom. Right.
There you go. Yeah. I agree.
So, did you have any other thoughts on the matter?
No, I'm really glad that we can stay in this industry and enjoy, and we love the gear. The gear is better than ever.
Yeah,
and so we really like exploring and experimenting with different things. Yeah, and so it's exciting. It's a very exciting time to be in this industry.
Yeah. There's always room for growth and learning, and that's just honestly a privilege of what we do. In my opinion, is just that there's always something new.
So do you know what our next topic is going to be?
Our next topic is going to be maintaining a public presence.
There you go.
How do you stay in the forefront?
Okay.
How do you stay active, visible, and trusted?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.